But as he stood on the glowing crystal altar beneath two suns, holding hands with an alien woman whose silver hair sparkled like stars, he felt like he'd walked into one. Liara, his bride, was unlike any creature he'd ever seen. Tall, graceful, eyes glowing softly like moonlight on water. She smiled, but even her smile seemed to carry power around them. Alien nobles in flowing robes watched in silence. The marriage ceremony was old, sacred. Binding a human to one of the royal bloodline was rare, maybe the first time ever. But Jace didn't care about history. He only cared about Liara. He had saved her life 6 months ago, back when pirates attacked the trade convoy where she hid. Under a false identity, she was wounded. Everyone ran. He didn't. He carried her on his back through the swamps of Shivan 6, fed her, even bled for her. They survived together, and she never left his side since. Now, they were married. But Jace didn't see the 5 sets of glowing eyes watching from behind the crystal pillars. The reception that followed was quiet. Alien guests bowed respectfully, offering strange humming gifts and shining crystals. Liara looked beautiful, but tense, like she was waiting for something. Jace noticed her glancing at the doorway. "Everything okay?" he asked softly. She nodded. "They'll come soon." "Who?" Before she could answer, the door slid open. No, not women. Sisters, each of them looked like Liara but different. One had emerald green hair and golden tattoos across her skin. Another wore black armor and carried a staff that buzzed with electricity. One looked like a quiet monk, her eyes half closed in a meditative trance. The fourth wore a long cloak of feathers, her gaze sharp and curious. And the fifth, barefoot, smiling, walked right up to Jace and poked his chest. "So, you're the human." He stepped back, confused. "And you are?" "I'm Velshi, the youngest." She smirked. "Your new sister-in-law." Jace blinked. Sister-in-law. The others surrounded him silently. Liara cleared her throat. "Jace, I should have told you earlier. In my culture, when one of us marries, the sisters must join the bond as well. Join the bond. They'll live with us. It's tradition." Jace sat down slowly in the crystal chair as the 5 sisters made themselves at home. They didn't ask permission. The one in armor placed her staff by the wall and scanned the room. "Your home is small. It's temporary," Jace muttered. The quiet monk stood in the corner, staring at him. "He has a strong aura." Velshi sat beside him, swinging her legs. "You'll get used to us. I didn't agree to this." "You didn't know," Liara said gently, "but now you do. It's not a law, but it is part of the bond." Jace stood. "Are they going to live with us forever?" Velshi giggled. "That depends on you." The green-haired one, tall and silent, finally spoke. "If you treat Liara well, we won't have a problem. And if I don't?" She didn't answer. She just smiled. That night, Jace couldn't sleep. He sat by the small balcony, staring at the twin moons. He wasn't angry, just confused. How could he marry one woman and end up living with 6? He turned when he heard soft footsteps. It was the armored one. She stepped into the moonlight, her pale skin glowing. "You're not ready?" "For what?" "For all of us," Jace frowned. "Is this a test?" "No." She looked out at the stars. "It's a fate." Then she turned to him, her voice low. "Just know this. If even one of us cries because of you, the pact breaks. And when the pact breaks," she didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. She walked away, her boots silent on the floor. Jace stared into the night, heart pounding. He had married for love, but now love had brought 5 more into his life. 5 stunning alien sisters, each with their own secrets, powers, and pasts. And one thing was certain. They weren't just here to visit. They were here to stay, and whatever this pact was, He was already a part of it. The second morning. After the wedding, Jace opened his eyes in a strange bed on an alien planet, with his alien wife sleeping peacefully beside him. Liara looked calm now, more at ease. But he couldn't stop thinking about the sisters. 5 beautiful, strange, dangerous sisters. They hadn't asked permission to move in. They hadn't even smiled at him except Velshi, the youngest. And even, she had that grin that said, "I know something you don't." Jay slipped out of bed quietly. He needed coffee. Or something like it. He walked into the main hall of the house. At first, it looked empty. But then, he saw it. The armored Sister Elk was standing still in the center of the room, holding her staff in both hands, eyes closed. Sparks of energy danced around her fingers. He froze before he could speak. Her eyes opened. "You walk loudly," she said. Jace raised both hands. "Didn't mean to sneak. You didn't sneak. You stomped." He glanced at her staff. "So? Training. I was preparing for what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she turned and walked toward a small glowing orb floating in the Era Watcher sphere. It recorded everything in the house. She touched it once. It blinked. Jace frowned. "Wait, is someone watching us?" She looked over her shoulder. Someone always is. He left her in the hall and headed to the kitchen. Hoping the green-haired sister wouldn't be in there, she was Illyra, the eldest. Her green hair was braided down her back, and her golden tattoos glowed faintly in the morning light. She was boiling some sort of alien root in a tall glass pot. The smell was spicy, like burning cinnamon and honey. "I hope that's drinkable for humans," Jay said carefully. She didn't look up. "It is. I checked your blood type while you slept." "You what?" She turned slowly. "Relax. Just a scan. We all need to know your patterns." "I'm not a lab animal." "No," she said. "You're our sister's husband. That makes you family. And in our family, secrets get people killed." Jace leaned on the table. "So everyone here has secrets, huh?" She poured 2 cups of the steaming brew, handed him one, and stared straight into his eyes. "I'll tell." "You one of mine," she said softly. "I didn't want Liara to marry you." He blinked. "Thanks for the honesty. She chose you anyway." So now, Illyra took a slow sip. "We all live with the consequences." Later that afternoon, Jace wandered into the small side garden. It was peaceful. Alien birds chirped softly, and the light from the twin suns filtered through strange blue leaves. He sat on a bench made of glowing stone. Then he heard humming, a soft voice, gentle, almost sad. He turned. The 4th sister, Evrila, stood barefoot in the grass. She had feathers woven into her hair and wore a flowing robe that shimmered like water. She didn't seem to notice him until she did. "You walk with a heavy heart," she said without turning. Jace raised an eyebrow. "How do you know?" "I hear thoughts in rhythm. Yours are sharp and clumsy. You read minds, not minds, just moods." Evrila looked at him with calm, deep eyes. "She chose you for a reason," she said. "You see danger, but you don't run from it," Liara said. "You're the peaceful one." Evrila gave a faint smile. "Peace is knowing when not to speak. But right now, I'll say this. One of us has a knife hidden under her bed, and it's not me." That night, Jace couldn't sleep again. He lay beside Liara, listening to her soft breathing, staring at the ceiling. He felt like a man in a house, made of glass, beautiful, clear, but fragile and filled with cracks. Suddenly, a whisper reached his ears from under the door. "Come quietly." He sat up, heart pounding. Slowly, he got out of bed and opened the door. Velshi stood there barefoot, holding a dim light in one hand. Her purple eyes glowed. "I want to show you something," she said. Jace hesitated, but curiosity won. She led him down a dark hallway he hadn't noticed before. It sloped downward, under the house. Finally, they reached a sealed door. Velshi tapped a code on a hidden panel. The door slid open. Inside it was a room full of maps, holograms, weapons, and names. JACE froze. On one wall, there was a large digital chart showing him in the center his photo, his medical info, his past jobs, and something called Project Union Blood. What is this? He whispered. Velshi leaned close. You were chosen, Jace, long before Liara ever met you, by forces greater than our family. Jace stepped back. She said she loved me. She does, Velshi said. But love is easy. What comes next, isn't? Jace stared at the wall, his face pale under the soft blue light of the secret chamber. The glowing chart still pulsed in front of him, his photo in the middle, with 6 lines branching out. 1 to Liara, 1 to each sister. The final line blinked, red with words he couldn't read. What is this, Velshi? He asked again, voice rough. This isn't just about marriage, is it? Velshi looked, not scared, but careful. Long ago, our kind believed that one powerful male, if bonded to 6 sisters of the same bloodline, could change the course of a world or destroy it. That sounds like mythology, does it? Your DNA is a match. You have something they called harmonic influence. It's rare, almost impossible. Jace backed away. So Liara married me because of this? Some test. She married you because she loves you. But this is bigger. The rule of 6 is ancient, forgotten. Code. If completed, it makes the family unbreakable. And you're the final part of that bond. He couldn't breathe. What happens if I don't agree? Velshi didn't smile this time. The bond begins anyway. Back upstairs, Liara was waiting. When Jace returned, she was sitting on the edge of the bed, her fingers trembling slightly. You found the room, she said quietly. You knew I would. Yes. Why didn't you tell me? She looked up, her silver eyes glassy with guilt. Because I wanted to believe we could be normal, that I could marry the man who saved me and live in peace. But I'm not just a husband, am I? Jace asked. I'm a piece of some ancient puzzle. Liara reached for him, but he stepped back. They told you about the rule, she said, but they didn't tell you the full truth. Then tell me all of it. She stood and paced. Slowly. Our bloodline is rare. We're born in 6s, 6 sisters, always. But if even one of us dies, the entire line weakens. The only way to bind our power is through a chosen male. 1 male for 6 sisters. Why not 1 for each? Because the bond doesn't work. That way, she said. It must be 1. 1 heart, 1 soul. 1 center. Jace shook his head. You make it sound like I'm part of some ritual. It's more than a ritual. It's survival. He stared at her. So if I complete this bond, whatever, that means what happens? You'll be changed, she whispered. All will. The bond doesn't just link us emotionally. It links memory, pain, dreams, power, and love. That night, Jace couldn't sleep again. He walked through the house, each room darker than the last. He stopped at the large living area where 4 of the sisters sat in silence. Illyra, the green-haired one, was reading an ancient text. Relka cleaned her staff with a cloth made of energy. Evrella, Meditated, and the quietest one San just watched. Him from the shadows. None of them spoke until Illyra closed her book and said, It's starting. Jace frowned. What is? The link? You've been feeling things, haven't you? Dreams that aren't yours. Pain that hits and fades fast. Voices in your head. He didn't answer, but his face said yes. Relka spoke without looking at him. 1 male, 6 females. 6 lifelines. 1 thread. San finally whispered, "The rule of 6 cannot be broken once begun." Jace clenched his fists. "I didn't agree to this." "You didn't have to," Illyra said. "The moment Liara chose you, the energy began flowing. You've already bonded to her, and now the others follow." Then I wanted to stop. The sisters all looked up at once. "No one," Everla said softly, "has ever survived the breaking of the bond." The next morning, Jace tried to escape. He packed a small bag, walked through the courtyard, headed for the port. He needed answers. From human scientists, leaders, anyone who could explain this alien mess. But as soon as he reached the gate, he stopped. His chest tightened. His vision blurred. He stumbled and fell to his knees. It wasn't fear, it was pain. Sharp, sudden, like someone had punched through his ribcage. Back at the house, Liara screamed and collapsed to Dot. All 5 sisters turned at once, sensing it. "The bond is resisting," Illyra said. "He's leaving the link." Relka stood, grabbing her staff. "We go now." They found Jace unconscious at the port gate. Face pale, hands clenched. Liara ran to him and cradled his head in her lap. He whispered weakly, "I just wanted to breathe," she cried. "You're already part of us, Jace. There's no way out." And then she said words he would never forget. "If one of us dies, we all die. That's the final part of the rule." The house was quiet. Again, too quiet. After the incident at the port when Jace collapsed, trying to leave everything had changed. The sisters no longer looked at him like an outsider. Now they watched him like something fragile. Like a puzzle piece they couldn't afford to lose. Even Liara seemed different. She smiled less, spoke less. Jace felt her energy shift at night, like she was holding back pain. He asked her once, "Are you okay?" She only replied, "The bond is stabilizing. For now." But one thing still haunted him. One thing nobody would talk about. The locked door at the end of the west hallway. It was strange. A house full of glowing glass, living walls, open space, Sizand. Then, this door. It didn't match the others. No seams, no scanner, no keyhole. Just solid, dark silver. Jace had touched it once and felt a buzz run through his arm. Velshi had caught him. "Don't," she had said sharply. "That room is not for you." But why? It's not safe. Not for him, or not for them. She never explained. But Jace had made up his mind. He had to know what was behind it. One night, while everyone was asleep or pretending to be, Jace walked the hall in silence. He placed both hands on the door, cold then, warm then. Opened Dot with a whispering hiss. The door split in half and slid apart. A pale blue light spilled out. Jace stepped inside. It wasn't a room. It was a chamber, deep, hollow, quiet. The walls were lined with alien runes, softly glowing. Floating orbs buzzed gently above, casting shadows that twisted like vines. In the center was a pod, a stasis pod, and inside it lay a girl, young, pale. Her skin shimmered like Leora's, but fainter. Her chest rose and fell slowly. She was alive. Jace's heart thumped hard. Who was she? He stepped closer and then he saw the inscription etched into the pod's surface. Sina 6th, daughter of the line. 6th. There were already 5 sisters. Liara made 6. No. Wait, that wasn't right. He turned quickly only to find Illyra standing behind him. "You weren't supposed to see her," she said calmly. Jace stared. "You told me Liara was the youngest?" She was. "Then, who is this?" Illyra stepped forward. Her golden tattoos shimmered under the chamber lights. She looked tired. "This is Sina. She was our true 6th. The first chosen." The one meant to form the bond. Jace blinked. But she's in a pod. She's been in stasis. For years. Why? Because she was dying. Her body rejected the bond early. Jace's stomach twisted. You tried the bond before me. She didn't deny it. It failed, she said. Her mind began to tear. Her energy fractured. We were losing her hand ourselves. The bond couldn't continue, so we sealed it. Sealed. Her Jace looked at the girl inside. Peaceful. Still, you replaced her with Liara, he whispered. No, Liara was next in line. She didn't want it. None of us did. But the pact doesn't care what we want. Jace stepped back, his thoughts racing. Why hide this from me? Because if you knew the danger, Illyra said, you'd have run. I did run, and you nearly died. She walked to the pod, gently placing her hand on it. I miss her, she said quietly. She laughed more than any of us. She wasn't afraid. She believed the bond would make us whole. Instead, it broke her. Jace asked the question he didn't want to ask. Could that happen to me? Illyra looked at him with sad, honest eyes. Yes. That night, Liara came to him in tears. You weren't supposed to see her, she said, voice trembling. I wanted to protect you. You mean lie to me? No, she said quickly. I mean save you. Jace took her hand. She's still alive, he said. She's still breathing. Doesn't that mean the bond can be fixed? Liara looked scared. I don't know. We've never completed it before. No one has. Then maybe we don't have to follow it. She shook her head. It's too late. You've already linked with me. And the others feel it too. Even the one in the pod. Liara's voice was barely a whisper, especially her. The next morning, Sina's pod lights changed, from soft blue to a blinking amber. The house alarms remained silent, but the sisters all stopped moving at once. They felt her. Inside the pod, Sina opened her eyes. Sina didn't speak the first day. She just stared at the ceiling of the chamber. Eyes wide, like she was waking from a dream that lasted too long. The pod remained open, mist hissing around her body. Jace stood with Liara, watching from the doorway. She's breathing fine, Liara whispered. But her link, it's unstable. What do you mean? I feel her. Like ... echoes, flashes in my mind. She's awake. But something is broken inside. Jace stepped closer. Let me talk to her. Liara grabbed his arm. Oh, she might not know who you are. Or worse, she might still think you were hers. The second night, the sisters gathered. All six, now Sina, dressed in a loose white robe, sat cross-legged in the center. Her hair had a soft silver glow, just like Liara's. But her eyes, those were different. Darker, to calm. Jace sat nearby, feeling the room tighten. I stood first. You should not be awake. Sina smiled faintly. Yet here I am. You're unstable. The bond was too much for you. It wasn't the bond, Sina said softly. It was him. The one who came before. Jace leaned forward. There was someone else. Sina looked at him slowly. You're stronger. The link holds with you. And that scares them, she added, eyes sweeping across her sisters. Relka stepped forward. Don't twist his mind. I don't have to, Sina said calmly. He already feels it. Jace blinked. She was right. Ever since she woke up, something inside him pulsed. A warmth that wasn't love. Not desire either. It was ownership, and he didn't like it. Later, alone with Liara, Jace said, Why do I feel like I belong to her? Liara sat beside him, hands tight in her lap. Because you do, she said quietly. Part of the bond was already set years ago. When she was chosen, they never told her it was canceled. Her soul still sees you as hers. She didn't even know me. No, Liara said. But her body did. Days passed, and slowly the sisters began to split. Evrila stayed neutral, watching SAA, and remained silent, but kept closer to Sina. Relka became angry. Protective. Yra grew distant. Velshi, always playful, now avoided everyone, especially Jace. Liara tried to hold them together, but it was clear. The house was cracking. Then came the night of the firelight gathering, a family tradition, where the sisters lit memory flames and shared their strongest thoughts through the bond. Jace was invited. This time, 6 fire bowls, 6 glowing flames, and 1 male in the center. Each sister touched the flame, and a memory appeared in the air. Velshi showed her childhood, running barefoot through silver grass with Liara chasing her. Relka showed a battle where she fought alone, injured, crying, bleeding, but survived. Elira showed a ceremony where their mother chose Sina as the first light, the leader. Then Sina stepped forward. She didn't touch the fire. She touched Chase's shoulder instead. The flame behind her turned dark, and then everyone saw it, a future, not a memory, a vision. Jace at the center, the 6 sisters kneeling around him, the world burning behind them, and Sina's voice echoing. He is the bond. He is the gate. He will choose who rises, who falls. The flames went out. Silence followed. Velshi stood up suddenly. Oh, no. That's not the future. That's her fantasy. She's showing the truth, Sana said. No, Liara whispered, eyes full of fear. She's trying to take him. Relka drew her staff. Let her try. Stop. Jace shouted. Everyone froze. He looked at Sina. I don't belong to anyone. Not Liara, not you, not your rules. But Sina smiled calmly. You already chose, she said. You came into the room. You saw me first. That's when the bond shifted. That night, Jace sat alone on the balcony, staring at the stars. Liara came, eyes red. I'm losing you, she said softly. No, Jace said. I just don't know who I am anymore. You married me, but they all want something from me. Liara held his hand. I want nothing, she whispered. Just you, just peace. Jace looked into her glowing eyes and kissed her. But as they embraced, a cold wind swept through the hall, down in the chamber. Sina stood in the dark, staring at the ceiling. She thinks she's won, she whispered. But her reflection in the glass pod smirked back. She has no idea what's coming. Jace hadn't slept in 2 days. The visions wouldn't stop. Dreams that weren't his. Voices in his ears. Moments of rage, fear, and strange desire, mixing like storm clouds in his mind. Each sister felt closer now. Even when they were far away, he could feel Velshi's nervousness, Relka's rising anger, Erela's sadness, and Sina's emotions weren't clear. They were cold, smooth, like ice over fire. Liara noticed the change in him. Her eyes followed him with worry, and her hand always searched for his. You're slipping, she whispered. The bond is taking you faster than expected. Jace touched his chest. His heartbeat didn't even feel like his anymore. I need answers. That night, Elira called a meeting. No soft talks. No games, just truth. The bond has begun, but it is unbalanced, she said. 6 threads, 1 soul. But one of us was not chosen. Everyone knew who she meant. Saena. Not smiled slightly. I was the original. You all followed after. But the bond started with Liara, Evrela said softly, and Jace chose her. Did he? Sina asked. The room, TENSED.VELSHI SHI looked at Jace. You have to choose now. Choose what? He said. Which one of us completes the circle? Said Relka. 6 cannot be 7. Only 6 can remain. Jace's stomach dropped. You mean, one of us must step out, Illyra said, or be removed. The ancient texts called it the bond ceremony. It was not about love or affection. It was about survival. To hold a 6-way emotional and energetic connection to one man could give the sisters power, unity, and long life, but only if balanced. Too many threads, and the link collapses. Too few, and the sisters start to decay. So tonight, the final link would be chosen, and someone would be left behind. The room was prepared with sacred lights. Soft music and sand from their homeworld spread in a circle. Ancient words glowed on the walls. Jace stood in the middle. Heart, THUDDING. Each sister stepped forward, one by one. Velshi was first. She knelt and placed her hand on his chest. I would never hurt you. I want to laugh with you forever. Then Relka, her armor gone, just a simple dress. I don't care about fate, Tay, but if you fall, I want to be the one to catch you. Evrella placed a flower in his hand. I dreamt of you before I met you. Your voice feels like home. San didn't speak. She only placed her hand in his, and he felt. Illyra, stern, silent. I would lead a kingdom for you, or burn it down. Finally, Liara. She said nothing, just cried. But Jace felt everything, and then Sina stepped forward. The sisters shifted. Some stepped back. Her presence was strong-like. Light too bright to look at. She touched his forehead. You feel it? You know, I'm not here to take your love, I'm here to make you complete. Jace closed his eyes. Memories not his own rushed through him, images of her as a child, smiling, standing before an ancient altar. Being told he was coming. She had waited for him her whole life. Even when asleep, even when dying. The air trembled, the sand lifted. The bond had begun. 6 pulses of light reached out from the sisters, hands toward Jace, but one stopped short. Her light flickered. Then, failed. No, she whispered. The room gasped. I'm the one he married, Liara said, falling to her knees. Jace rushed to her. What's happening? The bond, it rejected me, she said, her voice broken. But why? Sina's voice was quiet. Because love isn't enough. You were chosen, yes? But the energy between us is deeper, ancient. I don't care about ancient. Jace shouted. I want Liara. I love her. The lights pulsed violently. The bond began to shake. Screams echoed as the energy backfired. Stop the ceremony. Velshi cried, but it was too late. Suddenly, Jace stood alone in darkness. All 6 sisters were gone. Only one voice remained in his mind. Choose again, and this time, choose with your soul. A light appeared before him. Each sister stood in front of him. He saw not their beauty, but their hearts. Relka's strength, Velshi's joy, Evrella's wisdom, San's peace, Illyra's command, Sina's purpose, Lyra's love. He stepped toward Liara and whispered, I didn't fall in love with destiny. I fell in love with you. The lights returned. Lyra's thread lit up brighter than ever. And in that moment, Sina smiled. For real? Then my purpose is done, she said, and faded into soft golden light. Only 6 remained now. 1 man, 5 sisters, and 1 wife who truly held his heart. The bond was complete, but the story was far from over. The bond stabilized after Sina disappeared into light. She wasn't gone exactly, not dead, not erased. Her energy had simply returned to the root of the bond. Whatever power she'd carried, she'd given it away. To Jace, to Liara, to all of them. Liara didn't stop crying that night. Not for grief, but relief. She gave up her place, Liara whispered, holding Jace's face in her hands so we could have ours. Jace nodded. Okay. She was the key the whole time. The first, final, and now. He could feel every sister more clearly than ever. Not just their emotions, but their memories. He knew Velshi's favorite color before she said it. He saw Relka's nightmares before she dreamed them. He hummed a song Evrella had never told anyone. She wrote, he felt. Connected, not trapped, not owned, chosen, but it didn't stay quiet for long. 3 days after the bond ceremony, a ship landed outside their estate. A royal vessel, gold panels. Silent descent. No warnings. Jace stood with Liara on the balcony, watching the dust swirl as the doors opened. From the shadows stepped the matron. Their mother, a tall, fierce woman draped in silver cloth, her eyes harder than stone. Velshi stepped beside Jace, whispering, she never leaves the capital. If she's here, she's not happy. Inside, the matron said only 4 words. You broke the cycle. Everyone sat in silence. Liara stood. Mother, the bond is complete. Jace was the right one. The matron turned her head slowly toward Jace. You've been inside my daughters. Their minds. Their souls. I didn't ask for it, Jace said calmly. But I respect it. I love them. All of them. The matron narrowed her eyes. Love is a human word. It's also a powerful one. She stepped closer. You were not raised for this. You have no title, no training, and yet, my daughters, trust you. Jace held his ground. I earned them one by one. The matron nodded slowly. Perhaps, but power comes with eyes. And the galaxy is watching. If they learn that a human now holds the full bond. Liara spoke up, voice clear. Let them watch. Within days, word did spread, rumors across planets. News networks speculating. A human binds with 6-star royalty. Male of Earthline forms first full pact impossible. Danger or miracle. The unheard bond lives again. Jace's face appeared in alien news feeds. Artists painted him surrounded by glowing queens. Some cheered. Others protested, but Jace didn't care. His world wasn't out there. It was here with them. He adjusted morning tea with Illyra, who now softened when she smiled. Training duels with Relka he lost every time, but she always helped him up. Sitting with San in the garden without words, helping Velshi build her ridiculous treehouse made of scrap metal. Listening to Avrella's songs by candlelight and holding Liara. Each night, while the stars passed over them, he once feared being split between them, but now, he realized. He was the thread tying them together. One evening, while watching the sunset with Liara, she asked quietly, "Do you regret this?" He looked at her, her silver hair catching the last gold light. "No," he said. "I didn't choose all of this, but I chose you." She smiled, "And we chose you." Velshi burst into the room laughing. "You're gonna want to see this." The sisters gathered. Jace followed. In the middle of the main hall, Sphere had appeared. Soft white, floating, glowing gently. It blinked once, and then, a projection. Opened Sina's face, smiling, double quotes, "Hello, my family." Gasps. Silence. "I left something behind," she continued. "Not just my energy, but a message, because someday, the bond will grow again. Not just with one human, but with others." Everyone stared. "Protect the link," she said, "and protect him. Because Jace isn't just the first, he's the door." The image faded. Velshi looked at Jace. "What does that mean?" Relka's eyes narrowed. It means someone's coming. Jay stepped forward, then smiled. Well, let them come. Elira took his hand, and behind them, 5 alien sisters stood tall, glowing, beautiful, and bound. Not just to him, but to each other.